It's amazing how people will defend a lie. It's interesting how quick people will defend a lie and the people that tell lies. People will make excuses for people that tell lies. Now, in regards to the young woman that was drunk and was found dead in a freezer, on Facebook and on YouTube, there are so many black females that came against me because I mentioned the fact that she lied to her mother. Her mother had no idea where she was. She told her mother she was going to the movies and that she was going bowling. And now she's dead. And her mother said in an interview that she had no idea that her daughter was at a hotel party because the last thing she told her mother was that she was going to a movie and she was going to go bowling. Now, there's people that don't see anything wrong with this girl lying to her mother. So many black females had responded and said to me, everybody lies to their parents. I lied to my parent. They're making excuses for this girl, but this girl is dead. Now, had her mother knew where she was, maybe her mother would have disagreed with her. And maybe she knew that her mother would disagree with her. Had she told her mother the truth, which might have saved her life. But she lied, and now she is dead. In the Bible, there's a verse that says that all liars will have their part in the lake that burns with fire and brimstone. Also in the Bible, it says that a liar would not tarry in God's sight. So the Most High is against liars. Do people tell lies? Of course they do. But when you tell a lie, anything could happen at any time. It's almost like you're setting yourself up for failure when you lie. Now, for those of you out there who feel that this girl, all she did was told a lie, she did what teenagers do. They lie to their parents and say they go in one place and end up in another place. That's what teens do. So it's okay for them to lie to their parents. But I liken that to a man lying to his wife. Now, young ladies, tell me how you would feel if your husband or your man lies to you and tell you that he was going to hang out with the fellas. Oh, we just going to play cards, or we just going to talk and drink, and we're going to get high, we're going to smoke some weed. Me and the fellas are just hanging out. So he leaves the house and you have the thought in mind and you're trusting and believing what he tells you. So he leaves the house to go hang out with the fellas. And then you find out later on that he was with another woman. How would that make you feel, and what would you say to him? Now, from my experience in life, many women would say, you lied to me. You told me you were going to the store. You lied to me. And there are guys that have told their wives and their girlfriends, I'll be back. I'm going to the store. And they never returned again. They left with a lie. Now, young ladies, how would you feel if your man told you he was going one place and he ended up at a woman's house? And then on top of that, the woman ended up getting pregnant. And then he lies to you again. And now he's got another family on the side that you know nothing about, that he's repeatedly lying to you about that family. And then later on, you find that that family is real. Would you stay with that man? And what would you say about that man to your friends? He's a liar. You can't trust no man. All men lie. And we know black females are famous for saying all black men are no good, because they all lie and they all cheat. But it started with a lie. I hope I'm making my point. Fellas, what if your lady tells you, oh, I'm going to a church retreat. I'm just going to hang out with the sisters in the church. We're going to have a grand old time in the Lord. Just the sisters in the church. And then later you find out she went to a retreat and she was staying in a hotel in a totally different state. But yet she was with another man. And your wife ended up pregnant and tells you or make you believe or lead you to believe that the child that she was pregnant with was yours. You the only one I've been with. How could you lie like that? How could you, what would make you think that I cheat on you? I would never cheat on you. She would sound so convincing. And I'm sure there's so many black men out there, or men in general, that have already dealt with that. A lying, cheating wife or girlfriend or baby mama. How would that make you feel? And you would more than likely say you lied to me, and you didn't have to lie. If you didn't want to be with me, all you had to do was tell me the truth. So if you feel so strong about that, why would you justify the lie that a child tells the parent? Why would you defend a lie that a child tells the parent, I'm going one place, and then they'll end up some other place, and then you'll never see that child again because that child died while telling that lie? That lie that they told, they had no idea they were being set up, but they were talked into and convinced to just tell your moms or just tell your dad that we're going bowling or we're going to the movies. But yet she's in a hotel room being raped while drunk, getting high, living like she's grown, and now she's dead. Marinate on that. The second issue I want to deal with is I'm hearing so many people say, well, the police is saying now that she died, she got drunk and she walked into the freezer. She walked into a standing freezer and just laid down and died. A freezer that someone had to turn on. A freezer that was not even being used to store anything. She just happened to get so drunk that even the cameras didn't pick her up. There's cameras, but they didn't see her going inside this standing freezer. And they saying that they have come to the decision or conclusion that she got drunk and walked in there and laid down in this freezer in an area where they're doing construction, where she shouldn't have never known because she's not an employee, I assume. So she walked out of all the places in the hotel and outside the hotel. She chose to walk inside a standing freezer and lay down on the floor. Forget laying on the bed. They had a room But forget going to the room and laying on the bed. She wanted to lay on the floor in the freezer. Now, I remember when I was in the military and I got drunk. I recall walking from Junction City, Kansas to Fort Riley, Kansas. Late at night, early in the morning. I was drunk. But I was never too drunk to the point where I would walk inside a standing freezer and lay down and die. How many people do you know of that walked inside a freezer while drunk and laid down? Just name one person that happened to. Name one person that you know of. And when have you ever walked inside a freezer while drunk and laid down? I rest my case. So, feedback, tell me what you think, subscribe. FearlessJ1111 on Twitter, on YouTube, and I am FearlessJ1111 on Instagram. Click the PayPal button and donate to the channel. But we're living in a society where people are so dumbed down to where they're quick to believe a lie, even though the lie makes no sense at all. It makes no sense that this girl got so drunk that out of every place she could have went to, she walked inside a standing freezer. Let me back up. She turned the freezer on because there was no one else there, according to them. She just walked in and turned the freezer on, laid down on the floor, and died. How many people do you know of got so drunk they had to walk inside a freezer? Think about that. And you mean to tell me that there's people that's actually believing that story? They're actually believing that cover-up? Feedback, tell me what you think. Till next time, I'm Fearless.